All right, so this is question 3 from the practice test. It has noticeably more lines than the last question, but it might actually we might get to our answer a little quicker, believe it or not. Um, with a with a question that has far more code, I do like to do my initial checks to see if maybe I'll get like a case where D runs pretty quick. Like we get something to crash our code. Right. So what I like to look for is static methods, and I also like looking for private data. Right. So looking here, we're not really going to count public static void main, right? Because that should always be there anyways. Um, but I do want to investigate our other class here, my class, right? So looking at my class, I do have a private int here. Um, it's also nice to look at the constructors of the other classes, right? Because maybe actually this one doesn't have any constructors, which means that Java will make the default constructor that takes in no arguments, right? So like if we have something like this in main, right? Like if I do like my class, oh geez, like I don't know, like n for name is equal to new my class, and then I have nothing in the parameters. That's okay, right? Even though we don't explicitly have a constructor that takes in no parameters in this my class, Java will give you one kind of for free, like as a default constructor, right? Because every class should have a constructor. If you don't explicitly put one down, within the class itself, Java will just give you one for free, and it'll take in no arguments, and it should initialize all your sort of variables here to default values, so like 0 or null, depending on what your data actually is. Right? We have an integer over here, so it'll initialize to 0, because we have no, I guess, like already defined constructor, so Java will just give us the default one. So something like this is totally valid. Now, if I have something like, like my class n is equal to new my class, and then literally anything else in the parameters, so like I don't know, like a string or a number, right, or a double. This wouldn't fly because I don't actually have a constructor within my class that can accept a new object with a string in its parameter, or an integer in its parameter, or a double in its parameter. Right? It has nowhere to go. Like nowhere on here do we have like um, public something like my class, and then we could have like string. I don't know, we'll say like name for like name of the object. And then we have stuff in here, and then we close it out. We don't have that, right? It's nowhere to be found. I have a method that takes in an int, but then it's not a constructor. You can tell because my class isn't here, right? And the same thing goes with this. That is not a constructor, right? It should be public and then my class. That's public int. This is public void. These are not constructors, right? And they're definitely not constructors that take in a string or, for instance, a number, right? So because, well, okay, like it's kind of spoiler alert, but because we don't actually have a constructor that can take a class with an integer like passed into it, when I run this line, it won't let you, by the way, because it should give you a compilation error. But if I were to run this line and it didn't give me a compilation error, but like when it hit run, where is this supposed to go, right? Where's the method? Where's the method that says my class, and it takes in an int? It's nowhere to be found, right? So this guy has nowhere where to go, like no clue where to go. So that eventually will cause the error anyways, right? So this would just straight up crash the code, or maybe even not like let you compile because it would already throw an error. So you'd have to choose D here because this right here, like Java doesn't know what to do with it, right? Now, had that been my class with nothing in it, that's the totally legal line, right? You should be able to run this code just fine. But that wasn't the case. We passed it in argument, and we didn't explicitly have a constructor that could accept it. So we have to say, well, D, none of the above, right? The program crashes, and we can see if that's correct. Yes, it is correct. The program does crash. I will see you in the next.